And that was the sound you heard when you knew that the enemies were about to be screwed. Hello everybody, it is I, your host Sam, and welcome to Taste of Nostalgia, where of course today we are going to be talking about Xena and her ever so famous war cry that you heard at the beginning of this video. Xena was a kind of side character in The Adventures of Hercules, which then people loved her so much that she even got her own show, coincidentally titled Xena. And like her, how Hercules had Iolaus, Xena had Gabriel. And Gabriel was the far more softer spoken, always needing protection type of figure.
I went to read philosophy and learn about history and science, but they didn't consider me a normal girl.
Aside from Iolaus, who actually knew how to fight at the start of the series, Gabriel actually doesn't know how to properly fight until further on down the road. She, in fact, gradually learns how to fight, gradually learns how to take care of herself, gradually becomes a person who can go and help out Xena herself. Hers was a progression of a character who was weak and soft-spoken to becoming a little more sure in herself, becoming more of a fighter, becoming more of a proper partner to Xena. And that was her kind of character growth as a side character up until the last season, where she's the only one left alive. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So Xena was this show that also further expanded on some of the characters, like, for example, the romance between Xena and Ares, or, you know, Ares trying to romance Xena because he liked her warrior spirit, or whatever it was that attracted him to her, whether it be her warrior spirit, her warring nature, her fighting nature, whatever it is, Ares was attracted to Xena.
By the gods, you are a beauty. You must know I've missed you.
It gave us more information on Callisto, who to this day remains one of my favorite villains.
I long to see you wailing over the body of your friend. Well, it's not going to happen.
I love her so much, and I know people say, don't date crazy. I get it. I get that people say don't date crazy, but honestly, Callisto was a product of Xena when Xena was evil. Callisto's entire thing was based on revenge and how that revenge kind of drove her crazy. Until, of course, her redemption arc, which was also really weird.
I think it's time.
What for?
To meet your family.
There were a lot of weird things that happened in Xena, especially as the seasons progressed. Things got weirder and weirder. But yeah, Callisto was one of those fantastic characters and the perfect foil to Xena, because Xena, in essence, created her. Xena created her own arch nemesis. She created Callisto. And that is why Callisto often tries to hunt and / kill Xena, out of revenge. Then, of course, we have the... Honestly, I don't know how to say his name. Forgive me. I'm just going to refer to him as the King of Thieves, and we'll leave it there. He also, fantastic character. Fantastic character. Yes, he shows up in Hercules, but you see him far more, I feel, you see him far more in Xena. And while you may know him more from...
This is my boomstick!
That movie, he plays probably the best King of Thieves type character I have ever seen to date. He was amazing, and he was definitely, every time he came on, I was excited. I mean, I was also excited every time Callisto came on, but that was excitement for a completely different reason, which we shall not get into here nor there. But granted, the King of Thieves, another one of my favorite characters in Xena. So yeah, Xena had a lot of character stuff, and yes, a lot of these characters you will also see in Hercules. Also, you also see Jockster, Jockster the Mighty, who his whole entire shtick was that he wanted to be an adventurer, he wanted to be a hero, but he was really bad at his job, and he was seen more of a comic relief who honestly couldn't do anything. He was even dressed funny. Like, he honestly needed rescuing far more than he was able to rescue, except for that one time when Aphrodite imbued him with special abilities that allowed him to be a proper fighter every time. There was a catch though. Every time he heard something, like if it was a bell or there was something that he heard, a phrase, something that would turn him into a hero, if I recall correctly.
My friend.
That was a thing. But he was seen more like a bardic, comic relief type of hero. Get it? Because bard.
I refuse to shine.
Yeah? Well, I got us breakfast. Goose eggs. Sweet Equestra, I hope I didn't hit anything.
Nothing important.
And not to be taken seriously whatsoever at all. And yes, he also appears in Hercules. But the reason why I am saying Xena is because these characters are going to be far more fresh in your mind in the adventures of Xena than they will in the legendary adventures of Hercules. At least this is where I remember them most clearly. This is where I recall them most clearly. Hercules had other characters and whatnot that he was dealing with, sure. But most of the time, I remember these guys from Xena more so than Hercules. That's why I left them for Xena. So yeah, these guys were out throughout the adventures of Xena up until the point where I believe she murders every single Greek god, all a la Kratos style. I think she does this before the games, the God of War comes out. I'm almost pretty sure she does this before the game God of War comes out. And there are only two gods left alive, or that Xena leaves alive in the Greek Pantheon, and that is Aphrodite and Ares, because, you know, the world needs love and war, apparently. And you would think that would be the end of Xena. No. Because Xena had a wonderful habit of jumping the shark. From the times when the show would go into like the modern day, which was...
Xena could kick Jackie Chan's ass. Jet Li? No contest. If Bruce Lee were to come back from his grave, Xena'd kick his ass too.
Oh man, they're hot. And you know, after 2,000 years, they've gotta be horny.
So yeah, Xena went from Greek to Roman to like Roman, like Christian Roman times, to which... and then finally to Buddhism in Japan, which also was the last season, which once again, I'm going to set this aside for later. Going back to the flippy nature of it is that Xena and Callisto and a lot of these characters flipped a lot. And the song Flip Out Like a Ninja might adequately describe just how much these characters flipped out like a ninja, because that's what Greek Pantheon characters show people do. That was a lot of the fighting style. You'll see it in Hercules, and you'll see it even more in Xena, is that a lot of the fighting style is you get hit, you do a backflip. You want to fight somebody, you flip towards them.
Bird, you sure move fast.
It was a thing. It was a thing, it was a thing, and that's how I got broken fingers, because as a kid I was very impressionable and decided that I too wanted to do flips and backflips and all that wonderful jazz. And if you can see where this is going, yes, I did in fact flip off of my bed and hit the bed frame, both breaking 2 of my fingers as I did so. So yeah, I was very impressionable as a kid, as many kids are. And, you know, flipping seemed like one of those cool things that I've seen other kids be able to do, I've seen adults be able to do, and I thought I too could also emulate that practice. Little did I know that I would end up injuring myself instead. So, very flippy, but, you know, that was just how a lot of the action sequences were. So, we've got the Greek Pantheon, she deals with that, kills all the Greek gods. There was this weird thing where her and Gabriel get pregnant, and I think Xena's daughter or whatever is supposed to become like the next evil ruler or something. When I say the show jumps the shark, I am not joking. So yeah, that was a thing. And then there was like the time where apparently she was like, both her and Gabriel ended up being killed and crucified, and then like thrown into a tomb. And I think like Ares is like the one who like tries to revive them or something like that, which then leads into her like killing all the Greek pantheon except for the 2 of them. I don't remember the reason why. I would have to rewatch the entire series. I do not know the reason why she did that. And if you're wondering why I remember so much more of Xena than I do of Hercules, is because Xena, to many people, including myself, was a lot more impressionable. Whether it be because, oh, hey, look, check out this female heroine who's really cool and is a great fighter, or the memorable characters that you see like that are like very interesting, or the jumping of the shark scenes. Some of it was just, I guess, better storytelling to some degree or another, which is probably why I have these memories far clearer in Xena, especially when Xena came on far more frequently than Hercules did. So I didn't get to actually see as much of Hercules as I got to see of Xena, which was sad. I would love to see actually all 6 seasons of Hercules, but I think I only saw up to a certain point, and there were many things that were skipped, sadly. I'll have to refresh my memory. But yeah, so anyways, Xena and Gabriel get pregnant somehow. I don't remember how. And they give birth to, like, the people who are supposed to be evil. And instead of, like, killing, you know, their children who are going to be, like, the most evilest evil thing out there, they try and save them, which then leads into this whole Christianity bit in Rome, and the whole redeeming of Callisto, where Callisto becomes an angel, and Xena and Callisto have to like make amends, or Callisto is trying to like show Xena how to make amends. And then there's that point where Xena herself becomes a demon and has to be rescued, and there's this weird angels versus demon bit that goes on. When I say the show jumped the shark, I am not joking. And so that whole weird thing happened that feels like a fever dream to me, honestly. Like, that whole thing feels like a fever dream, honestly. Big yikes. And then, of course, we have the season that I hate with a fiery passion. It was probably the worst part of the entire Xena series, and that is the 6th season. Because they kill her. They kill Xena. That's how the story ends. They kill Xena. I'm gonna have to back up a little bit. So Gabriel and Xena have parted for a little bit. Gabriel somehow finds out that Xena has ended up in Japan. Gabriel goes to Japan and finds out that Xena's headless body is hanging on this kind of stake or whatever, this kind of thing where she's kind of like draped up and she's like, her head has been cut off. So yeah, Xena is dead, like dead. And so now Gabriel has to find out a way to figure out how to bring Xena back to life, because remember, they've been dead before and they've been brought back to life before. So, you know, a headless body, no big deal in the world of Xena. All you have to do is figure out how to like get the head, attach the head, bada bing, bada boom, do some weird thing or whatever, and ta-da, you're back to life, or something. I don't know the complete ritual as to what needed to happen, but yeah, there was this thing that needed to happen. And so she finds Xena's spirit, because of course she does, because Xena's spirit is actually what is needed to fight this demonic Japanese thing, and unless like you can only fight it while you're like if you're dead, so basically your ghost is the only thing that can fight it, somehow weird thing like that. And so Xena fights the thing and she wins. And the whole thing with Gabriel is that she has to get Xena's spirit back in her body before the sun rises, otherwise Xena is permanently dead. And then Gabriel kind of, I guess, takes up Xena's mantle, and she rides off with Xena as a spirit right beside Gabriel. And that's where the show ends. It was horrible. I didn't like it. It was not a fun time. It was not my favorite bit of the show. But yeah, Xena was all over the place, from like God of War level of kill every single Greek god out there except for two, to Roman Christianity, to like, which also included like weirdly Julius Caesar somehow, and then somehow from Julius Caesar it jumps into yeah, so the timeline also messed up anyway, so it goes from the Rome, then it goes into Japan, bunch of adventures in Japan, Xena dies, Lottie freaking da, and then, which I was not impressed with as a junior high kid. I was actually quite upset when this happened, and I'm still quite irritated by this ending, because it was a horrible ending, and I this is a hill I will die on. The way Xena ended was a horrible ending, and I'm not taking that back. It could have ended better. It was trash. The ending of Xena was trash. The 6th season of Xena was trash. But that is just my opinion. Some people may like it more than others. But yeah, with that being said, that is going to be it for today's episode. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.